Surprise, Megatron! Meet Superion!
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Fireflight and Skydive. Based on their appearance in the original G1 cartoon, these aerial bots are the final components to form the mighty Superion, which is the second combining team releasing in 2025, making this yet again the Battle of the Combiners. And if I'm being completely honest, it's a team of updates that haven't really gotten off to the best start. Firstly, there was Air Raid, which was surprisingly good, being a huge improvement in comparison to his Combiner Wars release. Then secondly, Slingshot, which unfortunately has to be easily the weakest of the team, mainly due to the design of his legs. Silverbolt, as to be expected, being a commander class, is the best of the aerial bots, although still not completely perfect, leaving me with, to be honest, incredibly low expectations for the final two. First up is Fireflight, who unfortunately is just a minor retool of Slingshot, meaning that as we whack up an image of how he originally appeared on screen, he's nowhere near as close as some of the more recent updates, which is a shame as the entire upper chest, including the head sculpt, have been fully retooled and look to be incredibly faithful to the cartoon. Proportionally, I also don't think this guy looks too bad. The only thing that really bothers me would be how hollow the inside of his legs are. In comparison to some of the other deluxes released for Age of the Primes, it really does just seem like Hasbro was scraping the barrel with some of these aerial bots. As we spin him around to the back though, and again compare him to his animated model, this is arguably his weakest angle, as not only are the heel spurs once again a massive eyesore, but the placement of his wings are just completely wrong, mainly due to him being a retool of Slingshot. Now I know for some this won't be the biggest deal breaker, but seeing as we are still paying the same $25 that we would if this was a complete brand new mold, I really think that we should be expecting better for that price point. Next up, we turn to Skydive, which much like Firefly is a retool of a pre-existing aerial bot, although as we whack up an image of how he appeared, he is easily the better between the two. Even the back of Firefly is super close to his animated counterpart, with them doing a pretty decent job in cleaning this guy up. Honestly, with these aerial bots not forming actual limbs to Superion, the design of this guy is exactly what we should be expecting, which is why I think that Slingshot and Fireflight turned out to be such big disappointments. Their transformations are simple at best, yet visually they are still incredibly compromised. In terms of accessories, Fireflight unfortunately includes the exact same weapons that were originally seen with Slingshot, even though in the cartoon he was seen wielding something completely different. Skydive on the other hand includes two unique blasters, which of all the aerial bots are easily the best looking of the team. Diving into the Articulation, unlike the 86 movie Constructicons, these guys are most definitely an improvement in comparison to their Combiner Wars counterparts. So first up is Fireflight. His head can look up, down, tilt side to side, and rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side. The biceps can spin, with the elbows able to bend way past 90. The waist can rotate side to side, with the hips able to kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side. The thighs can spin, with the knees able to bend to 90. Then finally, the ankles can tilt inward. Next up is Skydive. His head can spin side to side, the shoulders can kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side, the bicep can spin, with the elbows able to bend, his waist can rotate, with the hips able to kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side, the thighs can spin, with the knees being able to bend to 90, then finally the ankles can tilt inward. These aerial bots, with the exception of them all lacking wrist rotation, are incredibly dynamic, but to see how superior they really are, let's now put them through the pose test. Firing through some robot mode comparisons and going in order from tallest to smallest, up first is the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Leader Class Megatron, Commander Class Silverbolt. Then, as for some direct comparisons between their original molds, up first is Fireflight compared against Slingshot, and to my surprise, they changed a decent amount. The head and entire chest are completely different when in robot mode. It's just a shame that they couldn't find a way to give him an extra pair of wings. As for Skydive, his changes are slightly more subtle, with it just being the head and an additional chest plate as the only major differences in this mode, but honestly, I think that's all he needed. He looks great. Leading the way into the transformation, honestly, this is where I think these guys do kind of begin to fall quite short. In comparison to the engineering scene from the Transformers 1 Starscream, these do kind of begin to feel like oversized core class. So firstly for Fireflight, rotate at the bicep, with the same applying for the second side. We can now take the nose cone and fold this back, with the head following closely behind. You'll now take the elbows and compress these forward, doing the same for the second side. We can now take the shoulders and hinge these up, with this side following closely behind. Now that's complete, take the nose cone and snap this forward. You'll now take the legs and combine them, with the shins folding forward and the knees folding inward. Once completed, take the shins and snap them back into place. You'll now take the feet and fold these up, with the heel spurs doing the same. You'll now take the back wing and fold this up, with these wings folding to the side. Now we turn to skydive, with the first step being to fold the fists inside the forearms. You'll now take the arms and snap these into the torso, with the wings folding to the front. The head can now rotate, with the nose cone firstly folding up, then sliding back, then connecting into the shoulders. The chest plate will now fold forward. You'll now take the legs and combine them, with the shins folding forward and the feet sliding back. Once completed, we can now take this panel and attach it into the front of the jet, spin this section around, with the final step being to take these wings and fold them to the side, and that is the transformation now fully complete. Soaring through the battlefield of Cybertron, here are the aerial bots now fully transformed into their jet modes. And as we firstly whack up an image of how Firefly appeared, unlike the robot mode, an incredibly faithful recreation. Front, side to back, this guy looks to decimate his Combiner Wars counterpart, with the underside in particular being seriously impressive, seeing as there is no undercarriage, which unfortunately isn't the case for Skydive. Whilst from the top he looks to be incredibly close to his animated model, the undercarriage is honestly just a little too thick, with the shins and feet not looking the best, although to be fair, also not completely terrible. In terms of some comparisons, they retooled near enough the entire top of Firefly, with the same pretty much being the case for Skydive, which means that once paired alongside Silverbolt, the aerial bots are now complete.
Aerial bots, show them what you've got.
So firstly, take Silverbolt and slide this panel back, with the nose cone sliding inside. We can now take this panel and snap it back into place. We can now take this panel and compress it back, slip the wings forward, with the wingtips folding to the underside. You'll now take the nose cone and fold this back, then spin the head around. Next up is Slingshot. Take this panel and fold it to the side, with the wings folding back. You'll then do exactly the same for Fireflight. Now we turn to Air Raid. Take these panels and spin them around, with these wings folding forward. You'll now take the nose cone and fold this back, with this panel following closely behind. These side wings will also fold back, with the same applying for the head. Then we turn to Skydive. So take this panel and spin it around, with these wings folding forward, the nose cone folding backwards, with this panel also doing the same. You'll now take the wings and slick these back, with the head finally folding inside. Now we turn to the skeleton of Superion. Take the side wings and fold them forward, with the chest panel folding up. You'll then do the same for this panel, then detach the upper half away from the rest of the skeleton. We can now take this section and split it directly down the middle, with the same applying for the arms and legs. You'll now take the heel spurs and snap these into place, with the knees folding up. We can now take the foot and slide this down, then take the torso and slide the hips down, then attach Silverbolt into place. The chest plate will fold forward, with this panel doing the same. We can now take this panel and lock it into place, with the nose cone following closely behind. You'll then attach Air Raid onto the back of the leg, with the same being said for Fireflight. We can now fold the fist forward, then attach on Air Raid. Once completed, we can now split the arm directly down the middle, with the forearm extending and the shoulders doing the same. We can now slide the legs into place, then finally slide on the arms, and that is the transformation now fully complete.
Surprise, Megatron! Meet Superion!
Here is Superion now fully transformed into his combined mode, and despite the issues of the individual aerial bots, he's looking mostly fantastic. As we whack up an image of how he appeared in the G1 cartoon, visually from the front, he is looking to be incredibly close. Easily, one of the biggest improvements this version has over Combiner Wars is how solid he feels. Each and every component of Superion is locked in, and because this guy is using a skeleton frame, the plastic and joints feel dense, and I really do think that is this Superion's main selling point. As we spin him around to the back though, and again compare him to his animated counterpart, to be completely honest, this is easily his weakest angle, with the legs unfortunately being my biggest complaint. The aerial bots just look so clunky, even in comparison to the cartoon, and I really do think that these could have looked much better had they just been able to sit even deeper into the shins. I'm also not the biggest fan of the underside of the wings facing the front. This combiner, once complete, will set you back $200, and for the hollow side to be what you see, I think is just an incredibly poor design decision. Hasbro have now been making Transformers for the best part of half a century, and you would think that surely someone on the design team would have looked at these issues and found a pretty easy way in making him look better. With that being said, I have got to be fair and say that in comparison to Combinables, this guy's still a major improvement. He's much sturdier and definitely looks better. He's even pretty decently articulated. The head can look up, down, tilt side to side, and rotate left to right. The shoulders can kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side. The biceps can spin, with the elbows able to bend. The hands can rotate, with the waist being able to spin side to side. The hips can kick forward, backwards, and completely out to the side. The thighs can spin, with the knees being able to bend. Then finally, the ankles can tilt inward. As we fly through some combined mode comparisons, up first is the Studio Series 86 Devastator, the Legacy Evolution Menasor, and I do quite like how they were able to make Superion one complete piece, whereas with this guy, there were quite a few leftover parts. The Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, Leader Class Megatron, Deluxe Class Devastation Optimus Prime, which is a great companion piece, especially if you prefer Superion towering over the Autobots. Then finally, the 86 movie Bumblebee. So, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers, Age of the Primes, Deluxe Class, Fireflight, and Skydive. As the final components to Superion, it is unfortunate to say that the set as a whole is honestly a mixed bag. Fireflight just being a retool Slingshot, I don't think works quite as well in comparison to Air Raid being used for Skydive. Slingshot wasn't great, and it is a shame to still see some of the issues of that figure carried over into this one. Skydive, on the other hand, I think is mostly really well done in robot mode. In comparison to his Combinables version, he is a major improvement. On the flip side, I do actually prefer the look of Fireflight in jet mode. He's incredibly clean, with there being no undercarriage. It really is just a shame that they couldn't find a way to do the same for Skydive. Turning to Superion, much like the individual aerial bots, he really is a mixed bag. The combined mode from the front mostly looks great, with it visually being a huge step up in comparison to the previous version. As for his back, there is definitely room for improvement, especially in terms of how the aerial bots integrate into the legs. So as for the combiner that I would recommend over the other, it would have to be Devastator. Despite not being completely perfect himself, he just seems way more deserving of a recommendation over these guys. But I would love to get your thoughts. Be sure to sound off below and let me know. As always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll see you then. Transform and roll out!